When you park in some places around San Antonio, there is a good chance that you're being watched by people just waiting to disable your car and tow it off, and to charge big money to give it back.
In a hidden camera investigation, News 4 WOAI troubleshooter Jay Avila exposes the aggressive tactics being used by one towing company that are against state rules. And he has information you need to protect yourself.
Some towing companies don't wait to get a call. They have people out on the streets looking for cars they can tow. And one company we watched was putting these boots on vehicles moments after the drivers parked them. Then they quickly towed the cars. Well, when we showed police and state investigators what we caught on camera, they asked to join our investigation. The busy Greyhound bus station in downtown San Antonio is a tow truck free-for-all. There's a big parking lot in the back, but the signs say only people sending or picking up packages can park here. Family and friends who come to drop off or pick up passengers often assume incorrectly they can park here too, because they're Greyhound customers. And that's exactly what these guys are waiting for them to do. We stationed our cameras nearby and saw them day after day as they watched drivers from the edge of the parking lot. And as soon as the drivers go around the corner, those spotters move in fast to put a boot on their car. Sometimes they run to get the boot on before drivers and their families coming from the Greyhound terminal can beat them back to the car. And once the boot is on, a tow truck arrives within minutes.
While I was waiting online, they towed my car, came out just as they were putting it up on the truck, and they wouldn't let it down.
They told me if I don't pay it, they're going to tow truck's coming to take it away.
But doesn't Greyhound have the right to boot and tow cars on its property? After all, there are signs posted. Well, maybe so, but there are rules towing companies have to follow. Rules that prohibit these commando towing methods. For one thing, state rules say that if you put a boot on someone's car, you have to wait 24 hours before you can tow it. And during that time, the driver can pay a smaller boot fee and get their car back. But look what happens to this man who had his two small children with him, still in their pajamas. When he parks in the Greyhound lot and walks around to the terminal, the spotters swoop in and have his car booted within 2.5 minutes. Seconds later, a tow truck from Bear Towing, which has a contract with Greyhound, backs in and picks up the man's car. The tow truck driver doesn't even get out to secure the vehicle. In less than 3.5 minutes, he's gone with the man's car, leaving the man and his kids stranded.
It's a big violation. You can't hold a car hostage until a tow truck shows up.
We showed our video to investigators with the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation, which oversees towing companies. When they saw what Bear Towing was doing, TDLR investigators said they wanted to be present, along with SAPD officers, while we conducted a sting. So we went back to the Greyhound and purposely parked our car in their clearly marked towing zone, under the watchful eyes of state investigators and SAPD officers who were observing along with us to see if Bear Towing would violate the state's 24-hour rule. It's that red Honda Civic there. And sure enough, the spotters put a boot on it about 5 minutes later. And a few minutes after that, here comes the tow truck. They immediately lift the car to tow it. And that's when I walk up with a hidden camera.
Hey man, what's going on?
Will they tell me I have the right to pay a boot fee and avoid a costly tow?
So what's going to happen? Well, being towed. My car's being towed right now. Don't I have an amount of time to get it before it gets towed? Is there a period of time you're supposed to wait?
No, not really.
At that point, I tell them it's all an on-camera sting.
I'm with News 4 WOAI, the troubleshooters, and there are also SAPD and state investigators here. And you're supposed to allow 24 hours before you tow our vehicle. What do you have to say for yourselves? Anything to say?
They ignore my questions and go right on hooking up my car until the cavalry arrive.
This is a state investigator right here.
I need to see your license. I need to see your license.
Investigators with TDLR and San Antonio police move in and inform Bear Towing they're looking at numerous alleged violations. The state investigators only have the power to impose fines or suspend a towing company's license. But the SAPD officers claim Bear Towing is also breaking the law by violating state towing rules. and they write up the company for 3 misdemeanors. However, 2 of Bear Towing's owners show up and argue that their tactics are legal and any charges against them won't hold up.
How many signs, how many warnings did these people get? I mean, it looks like a hood ornament on the front of their car. The law says that everything that we're doing is by the book, and the law has not refunded 1 nickel to 1 person on this property.
He claims Greyhound makes an announcement on the PA system inside the terminal before anyone is towed, although none of the drivers we spoke to say they heard it. Bear Towing also says they weren't charging drivers for both a tow and taking the boot off. Regardless, drivers told us they were charged more than $280 to get their cars back. Finally, I ask why Bear Towing's employees aren't waiting the required 24 hours before towing.
He just was going to tow me without giving me any information and without telling me about my options.
You know what? I find that hard to believe. I really do.
Not when you see the video, you won't.
Here it is again.
Don't I have an amount of time to get it before it gets towed? Is there a period of time you're supposed to wait?
No, not really.
As for that spotter, he has his own trouble. SAPD wrote him up for being parked in a handicapped space while he was booting other people's cars. As a result of our investigation, Bear Towing says it has stopped the practice of booting cars and then immediately towing them. Now, to use these boots, you have to have a special license, and you must put a sticker on the window with detailed information on how to get the boot off. Plus, you have 14 days to ask for a hearing to dispute the fine. I'm News 4 WOAI troubleshooter Jay Avila.
You can read the entire letter sent to us by Bear Towing's attorney by going to WOAI.com. Now that you know more about your rights, we would like to hear from you. What towing traps have you come across around San Antonio? Tell the troubleshooters by calling them at 476-1070 or emailing us at troubleshooters@WOAITV.com.